So it's been about 2 years since the last beginner's guide. I didn't really want to make another one, but with my man Jim constantly pestering me to do a new one.
Let's do it right now. We gotta talk about doing this beginner's guide. If we don't make another banger video, this company's gonna go under.
I guess I might as well go on ahead and make this new beginner's guide. So you download the game, you put in your name and everything else, and you're prompted on a screen that gives you 3 choices. This is like picking your starter in Pokemon, just a lot less exciting. If you want to know, the best option is always Corsair. That's the meta one, but if you don't really care about that and you want to go for Clyde or whoever else you think looks cool, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. But now you summoned and you got shafted, and you want to know if it's actually worth re-rolling in this game. Yes, it's one of the best possible things that you can do for your account, especially if you're going to be a free-to-play player. And thankfully, nowadays, re-rolling in GS is actually extremely easy for all platforms by going to the home page and then the menu, and then you click delete account and you check off all the boxes. Upon checking off all the boxes, you will then be prompted, are you sure you want to delete? You click it, and then boom, your account is deleted. You'll be sent back to the main menu screen. You won't have to download anything else, and you'll be able to make a fresh account just like that almost instantaneously. Now, with the re-rolling process, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. Unlike other games, Grand Summoners has a unique system that is in place for anybody that is a brand new account. If you are a fresh account in Grand Summoners, you are able to get a guaranteed 5-star no matter what on your first summon, meaning that if you do a single summon on any banner that you want to, you are guaranteed a 5-star character. So now, since we know this, the best route to actually take in terms of re-rolling would be to do a single summon on a banner of your choosing, followed by the guaranteed multi-summon. Now, the next question would be what to re-roll for, right? If you want to know the simplest way to do it, it's pretty much just to go down below in the comment section, and you will find a link down there that will show you a Google Doc that is constantly updated and telling you what the best re-roll is at the current moment. This is made by the community, though. This isn't actually ran by me, so huge shout out to them for the people that do this. Another way that you can go about this is just re-rolling for your favorite characters. Let's say you're starting the game because of a crossover, and I don't know, maybe it's the Yu Hakusho crossover. You just want Yusuke, then summon for Yusuke and get him and continue on your way. Congratulations! You did your re-roll, you got your characters, but now you may hit a wall and be like, wait, what am I actually supposed to do? The best thing for you to do is progress the story to chapter 5 so you can unlock side stories, which are past events that let you play to get some of the best equips in the game. I'm talking about pristine Gucci right here. Now, after unlocking chapter 5 and awakening some of your units at this point, you can now make a choice. You can either keep pushing story, and you might be able to obtain Reyes' Awakening, which is the main character. By the way, if you need help with that, I do have a few videos on that. Or you can start doing events, giant bosses, and the side stories that you were grinding in chapter 5 to unlock. Neither path is necessarily a bad option, but it's more so just whatever you want. But for us, I want to talk about the route that leads into the events. As far as what you should do first in terms of events, giant bosses, or side stories, well, I'll tell you that I personally would prioritize events the most. Since events are time limited, we don't know when they will come back. Even if you don't necessarily like the equip that's from the event, it's still recommended that you farm at least one of them before it leaves, because you never know when you will need that equip. But not only farming events will just lead you into equips, it will also lead you into limit break stones for your characters and equips, which limit break stones do exactly what they say. If you limit break a unit, you're able to access higher tiers of equipment, meaning that 4-star physical that was on that unit may now be a 5-star physical. If you limit break an equip, it just lowers the cooldown of that equip, meaning that you can use it more often. And then one of the last big positives of events is the fact that some events are known as crossover events. If you start during a crossover event, it's a very good chance that you probably re-rolled for a crossover unit, which means that you might be able to max luck that unit. When you obtain a max luck unit, or what is otherwise known as a luck 120 unit, you can cut down the grind tremendously, since the more luck a unit has, the more drops you get at the end of a quest. Bonus points, by the way, if you're farming in multiplayer, because if everybody in the lobby is using luck 120 units, everyone gets additional drops, cutting down the grind even more. Just like events, giant bosses and side stories also give great equips, and is extremely worth the grind when starting your account. Giant bosses are on a daily rotation, or sometimes a weekly rotation. If you wind up missing that giant boss, you will have to wait until they come back on another day. So if you need an awoken fragment, or you need an equip from a said giant boss, highly recommend that you do that before you actually start tackling side stories. Now, unlike the other pieces of content that we talked about, side stories are a little bit more laid back, since they are actually here all the time. They're permanent types of content that you can play at any point in time. And I already know, yes, I already know.
What type of equips are we supposed to be getting, OP?
As far as giant bosses go, these are the equips that I recommend that you get. Lesser Demon Heart, Relic Radaeus, Relic Mav, Relic Dola Armor. Now, as for the side story equips, this stuff would include stuff like Alma's Hat, Seagull, Arc Ignite, Grand Destin, and the 4-star heal from Cross the Blaze, episode 7. And as far as gameplay goes, that's kind of it. Just keep grinding till you have what you need, and eventually you'll start tackling harder and harder fights that will give you even better equips. But of course, try to stick to the few events that I mentioned. Don't try to tackle stuff like Ultra Luck Trials and all that, because those are more in-game things. You gotta start small before you work your way up to the big leagues. So as a beginner, you're gonna be getting access to a few different things. Not only are you gonna be getting crystals thrown at you, you'll also be noticing that every single day, whenever you log in, you'll be getting different types of tickets. And these tickets can be taken to the town and then to the alchemist. And then if you click exchange and you scroll all the way down, you will see that you'll be able to redeem these tickets to exchange for whatever you want. As for the recommendations from each of these tickets, let me go through and tell you right now with the quick little explanation of each. For the 4-star equip tickets, pretty much you're going to be going for Keon. Keon's an AoE Archgen item, and as a new player, you don't have many of those. If you want to know what Arch Generation does for your team, pretty much that allows you to use your arts and your true arts even more. As for the 5-star equip, the best thing I can recommend you guys getting is getting the Magic Armor. The Magic Armor is a 5-star defense that's able to give your team AoE dark damage mitigation and also just damage mitigation on its own, which is extremely valuable in any type of harder fight. If you don't want that equip though, there are 2 other equips that I actually recommend from this 5-star tickets, which are going to be Chrono Dominator and Letterbag. The reason why I recommend these 2 equips is because they are extremely good in Arena, which I haven't talked about at all in this guide, but Arena is the PvP mode. If you're somebody that wants to get into Arena because you want all the crystals, you want all the gear, then you need one of these equips, if not both of them. The reason being is because in Arena, the meta is equip nuking the other team that you play against. And Letterbag and Chrono help you do this a lot more efficiently. Letterbag gives you damage plus 100% crit rate, while Chrono Dominator just gives you raw damage. Now, as for the next 2 redemption tickets, these are pretty crucial. You have Redeem Ultimate Hero ticket and Redeem True Equip ticket. Both of these are actually updated every single year, so depending on when you're watching this video, the pool might be different. And if that's the case, then you can always check out my videos on the newest Unit of Choice ticket or the newest True Equip ticket, because I update those videos every single year. The 2 equips that I'm going to be recommending that you guys could maybe pick up here is decide between True Izanagi or True Exceeds X. This is literally the best Archgen item, sustain item, and one of the best arch damage buffing items for 5-star magic that you can get. The 30 arts as long as you're above 75% HP, the 50% arch damage plus the lifesteal is everything you could ever want in a 5-star magic for most attackers in the game. True Izanagi is the other and possibly the best item to pick up from the entire True Equip shop. Reason being, this thing gives you 2 arts every second for 3 seconds. As I mentioned before with Keon, the more arch generation you have on a unit, the better, because that means you're able to use your arch and true arts more consistently. And another bonus about this item is that it gives equipment CT down level 3, meaning whoever you equip this onto, all of their equipment will benefit from this equipment CT down passive, meaning all the equips on that unit are going to be able to be used a lot more often. Now, as for the ultimate hero summon, the main one that you can usually pick up without a doubt, and is going to be the best one for you majority of the time, is going to be picking up the man Earth Finn. Reason being is that this guy is an arch gener that gives you 3 arts per second, and he also gives you equipment damage, which is kind of whatever, but he does have access to some of the best slots in the game. And since we're on the topic of arch gen, I guess I should also talk about this really briefly. Earth Finn is known as Type A arch gen. That means that any unit that is a Type A Archgener cannot Archgen with Earth Finn. Type A Archgeners are usually other Finns, by the way. Their Arch Generation wouldn't stack. But let's say you're using Earth Finn alongside someone like Haruto, or as he's called in game, Heart. These 2 Archgeners would actually be able to stack their Archgen because their Arch Generation types are different. Haruto's is Type B, Finn's is Type A. So to put it as simple as possible, make sure that you're not using the same type of Archgener on your team, because if you are, Archgen will not stack. You can find a link to a guide down below in the comment section where I go in detail about exactly what Archgen is. Let's talk about the last bit of this guide. Summoning. Summoning is the thing that everyone hates in the Grand Summoners community. So, how exactly does summoning work in this game? Summoning is broken down like this. Every single time a new banner comes out, you will be able to do a guaranteed 50 pull on that banner, meaning that you are guaranteed one 5-star character every single time a new banner drops. If you want to do any other multi-summons after that, it is no longer guaranteed. You then have to go against the rates, which are usually 5% for a 5-star drop if you're a free-to-play player. The only way for you to get back that guaranteed 5-star is by spending money and doing the paid 50 summons. So let me tell you how I would recommend you go about summoning in this game. The general rule of thumb is not to go any deeper than the first multi if you're not planning on pity. The only time you break this rule is if the unit that is currently out is extremely meta broken and you're like, screw it, I'm throwing everything at this banner and hoping that the RNG gods will bless me. And one of the main videos that I make are should you summons. And in my should you summons, I make these to kind of help you guys determine if you should even waste 50 crystals on a banner or if you should just skip and save, which I would recommend that you guys watch those videos if you want to know when to summon. Or another thing that you can do is that usually on the official Discord or in my Discord or wherever, there's also should you summon guides in those places as well, meaning there is a lot of resources available to you to determine if you should summon or not on a specific banner. That's like the meta way to play, and some of you guys, you know, won't really enjoy that way of playing, which is perfectly fine. The other way that I would recommend you guys play is just summon for who you want. If that's what makes you happy, just do that. Who cares what someone else says? Who cares what the tier list says? If that's a character that you really want and you want to try to use them, go on ahead and do it. After all, this is just a game, and you can play this any which way you want. And that's pretty much it for the beginner's guide. If you want to know what else you're going to be doing past this point, it's pretty much exactly what you've been doing up until this point. You're going to be grinding the game and going for different types of equips, grinding events to get the limit break stones, and trying to build a good foundation for your account. As you keep progressing in the game and as more events keep coming out, you may notice that some in-game events will be coming to the game, like Dungeon of Trials, raids, and mines. Whenever these come out, highly recommend that you guys try them because they are a little bit more difficult than your standard type of content. This raids is a ranking mode, which, I mean, if you care about that, you know, knock yourself out, try to get as high as you can. The main reason why you want to do raids is because it gives you a lot of crystals, and it also gives you some of the best gear in the game as well. Mines, on the other hand, is a lot more relaxed, and is personally my favorite mode in the entire game, and it's kind of like a boss rush to an extent. Upon going deeper into the mines, you will fight harder and harder bosses, and if you're lucky, you may get one of the mines equips to drop. If you get a mines equip, they are different than regular equips because they actually have a negative tied to them, but usually the positive that the equip has completely outweighs the negative. And some of the best in slot items that you can get are from the mines. As for the final event, that is going to be Dungeon Trials, which is quite possibly the hardest out of all of them. DOT does give you some equipment here and there, but you're mainly doing it to pick up all the crystals and all the LB stones from it. So yeah, whenever this comes out, I recommend trying to see how far you can get in it and tackling it, but like I mentioned before, this is probably the hardest out of all of the other events since the units that you need to clear a lot of the higher DOT floors are very specific, meaning that you pretty much need to be a whale in order to clear some of that stuff, or you had to been playing the game for quite a while. And that's pretty much it for the video. So hopefully you find that your Grand Summoner's journey is quite enjoyable. Thank you all for coming out. It's been your boy P. If you found this video informative, entertaining, whatever the case may be, greatly appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe, any of that good stuff. And oh yeah, if you like this video, highly recommend checking out either one of the videos popping up on your screen right now. Great content, guarantee you'll love them. Oh, and one more thing, don't forget to drink water.